For me, I was looking like, how can I remove some human error? Because I have to calculate every trade as well. And that is when actually I was thinking about automation. So then I was researching that, checking that, and the person that had taught me forex a lot, he was already thinking about that as well. So I linked in that part, and I was thinking, how can I do that for myself, that I can still live the life that I want, have more time with my son, but still do what I love. At first, I started automation with Excel file, getting my calculations already there so that I only had to fill out the numbers, for example. That was the first part of my automation. So getting a step-by-step process that you can give more parts that a computer can handle, leave it to the computer. Automating my system would mean making money in my sleep.
We were having a conversation about automating your system. What made you decide to do that, and how did you go about automating your system?
In my previous jobs, I had a lot of management positions, and I also ran a business besides that because partly I was an entrepreneur as well. I'm always looking at how can I optimize the processes within my business? How can I remove some human error? Like I said, a couple of years ago, my mom passed away, and that changed my life a lot, mainly around how I spend my time. And the strategy that I have and that I was trading as a hobby before, especially because forex is 24/5, it went on all day when it was a busy day, for example. And some days I maybe had one trade, some days maybe 3, 4, some days maybe no trade. And other days, like in the Corona pandemic, I had 15 trades a day. For me, I was looking like, how can I remove some human error? Because I have to calculate every trade as well. And that is when actually I was thinking about automation. So then I was researching that, checking that, and the person that had taught me forex a lot, he was already thinking about that as well. So I linked in that part, and I was thinking, how can I do that for myself, that I can still live the life that I want, have more time with my son, but still do what I love.
Yeah.
And that's when I started, writing the business plan. And the business plan said, hey, I need leverage. I need to be able to manage my account, or maybe even multiple accounts with the same quality that I will do, or even better quality that I will do myself. All the automation that I do is based on how can I have more time? How can I do the calculations quicker? So get stuff that I would do normally on paper or in Excel files that I've created, can do in a second, and make really a business of this. I see my EA as my employee, and I see how can he do the most, and I do the management position and oversee and make the larger decisions like the risk, the psychology and everything about that, and he just can do the task that needs to be done. Like I said, I want to make this into a business. I already talked to you about opening another account. I already have opened another account. So for me then was the second problem, okay, managing 2 accounts would take more time, but copying my EA is one click. So now I do 2 accounts at the same time, and I can even do them with different risks based upon what the different accounts need. So for me, that's when the automation came in, when I really had a business sense about this, like how can I make this a successful business and grow and still keep the quality.
Amazing. And what I love about that journey that you took is you decided, you looked at, right, what is my best life? What can I envision for myself?
Yes.
For my son? What do I want in life? Who do I want to be? And then you designed your system based upon how you want to live your life. And so that approach is a process orientated approach. So then you looked at, okay, what processes do you need in place to be able to achieve dream life? I think what you've done, many traders should learn from this, because it's really how you structure any business. This is how you need to think about the business itself. And so, because you have a background in entrepreneurship, and so running a business and optimizing is something that you knew how to do. And so you've done that with trading. And so this mindset of treating trading like a business is what's led to a lot of your success. And so well done on that. Honestly, very, very impressive. So how would you summarize your strategy?
A trend catching strategy. That's how I actually would summarize it. I'm definitely a swing trader. So in the swings, that's where I get most of my profit. That's actually some summary of my strategy. And then I scale in, scale out based on the swing I catch.
Okay. And what sort of risk reward are you getting?
That's actually a difficult part, I realized, with my strategy, because I actually divide my trades up in multiple trades. So when I discussed this also with the one that is training me. So when I get the parameters from the system, if you, for example, say winning trades, losing trades, it doesn't translate well to the strategy that I use, because I divide my trade up in multiple trades based upon how many trades I win from that sequence. I have one winning trade, one total winning trade, or one total losing trade. So it's a different metric than just doing a trade, for example, risk to reward 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, and then winning.
Yes.
Because I scale in, scale out. So it's difficult to explain in the risk to reward.
I completely understand, because when you're scaling in, scaling out, that data is skewed. The risk reward data is skewed. And does the EA, does it manage your stop loss automatically? Does it adjust or trail the stop loss in any way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I have and that's also automatic now, because previously I did it manually, but it indeed uses a form of trailing stop. Every trade has a stop loss, because sometimes I also, for example, think, okay, the swing is going this way, but then the market changes, so I then go the other way.
Yeah. And I can see that in your equity balance, where the losses are controlled and the drawdown swings are not very deep. This one in particular here, you can see that the losses are still controlled. I mean, we don't have like this huge move to the downside, right? Like for example, these two trades here, 2 or 3 trades, you can see to the upside, the system allows for a trade to run to a specific target, but when it's to the downside, we don't have those big swings. So it's definitely focused on protecting the capital, when you can just tell by how this looks. And it seems of course that there is still an element of semi-automation in your system. So be quite curious to know how you actually, what is your part in it?
Yes, just to add to your previous part that you said about the equity curve, since it's a swings trading strategy and of course trend catching, most of my downside is when markets are ranging, because then I actually go for the breakout. But if I, for example, have a mistake there and think, oh, it's going to break out, but it's not, that's where I lose most or have most of my losses.
Yes.
But that's then where I also scale in. So depending on how large the loss is, depends, of course, how many times maybe previously I have miscalculated the breakout, or I then scale out when, of course, it does break out, so that I can get the profits for maybe a minor swing. And of course, if it then starts trending, then it's where my strategy really gets lots of the profits.
Yes, I see. And it's a lot of the time, the markets are ranging, unfortunately.
Yes.
So I can see, you have to be very patient. You started this evaluation in August.
Yes.
And let's have a look at your stats. Yeah, the stats are really, really impressive. I can see how you manage the relative drawdown very well, because you still managed to hit the 7% target with drawdown less than 3%. That's fantastic. You have a 2.44 recovery factor. So for me, anything above sort of 2 is really good. That's what you want. And the profit factor 1.46. I would ideally want to get that above 1.5.
Yeah. I do have to say the profit factor for my strategy is lower than that, because like I mentioned, the way my strategy is structured, dividing trades up in different trades.
Yeah.
Because some trades are large and some trades are small, but I add them all up to make that one trade.
Yeah, so this particular statement doesn't reflect that.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't reflect that, because it takes every individual trade as, of course, one trade.
One trade, yeah.
And some are break even, some are, how do you say it, 1-to-1, some are 2-to-1. Yeah. And some are even less than that. And a normal trading strategy, you won't, of course, take a trade that is less than 1-to-1. But since I'm adding them all up to make that one sequence, it doesn't really show in the profit factor status. So for my strategy, actually, I mostly look at it like, if it's to a profit factor of 110, then I know I'm still in the good zone of my strategy, and of course the equity curve looks smooth.
Good. And so out of these 261 trades, how many entries would you have per trade? 3, 4, average?
That's to be honest, in this case, it were a lot more because of a lot happened in the market the last couple of weeks. But for a sequence of trades that I have, it's 6 successful entries to make a successful trade for me.
Excellent. Yeah, I can see here your max consecutive wins, you had 27. Max consecutive losses, you had 7.
Yes, and that's basically also because of the scaling in and scaling out. Because sometimes in one good curve, I open additional trades to capitalize more on that move.
Exactly. Fantastic. So what would you say to traders who are thinking about automating their strategy? Is it worth it for them? And what are the key benefits of automating or semi-automating the process?
At first, I would say from my experience, it was totally not what I thought it was, because I was thinking automating my system would mean making money in my sleep. And it was totally not that. So at first I had to go and remove myself from that way of thinking. Like I actually mentioned before, if you're thinking about automating the system, I would suggest think about it in a business sense and think about what you would like the system to do for you. And of course, thinking about your own psychology and your own mindset. What parts of trading can you actually give away to the system? Because if you do not have trust in your own strategy to do the work for you, or your system to do the work for you, it will give you a lot of stress. And then you have an automated system, but still be looking at the screen 24/7. And then the whole point of an automated system is, of course, removed. So I would think like it in a way, like how do you want to structure your life? What parts of the day you might want to be away from your computer, and what tasks are in those particular parts of the day that are possible to automate? Because for me, having an EA now is automation, of course, but at first I started automation with Excel file, getting my calculations already there so that I only had to fill out the numbers, for example. That was the first part of my automation. So getting a step-by-step process that you can give more parts that a computer can handle, leave it to the computer, and then do what's important to you. The management part, the calculating the risk part, so that you can be focused on really treating it like a business and delegating certain tasks that you do not have to do yourself.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
Yes, and for me, it's working out really well now, and I could really advise to do that, because it really changed my whole approach to trading. It helped me in getting my psychology, of course, also under control, because it is programmed. So the only way for me to stop it is to stop the EA. In the beginning, I sometimes wanted to do that, but now it has been, I think I've been testing this EA for now 1.5 years. And believe me, in the beginning, I was recalculating every step it took, but it took me some time, and now I have trust in the EA doing it for me. And that's why I'm here with you guys, putting it to the true test and starting this change in my life.
Fantastic. So you mentioned the psychology and the benefits behind it. So who is it not for? Trading, like automating a strategy, who would you say it's not for? What type of person or what type of trader would you say?
I think it would not be for a trader that, for example, likes to have everything in its own hands and has a problem with delegating certain tasks, because otherwise you will be, how would you say, micromanaging your EA. And that can give you a lot of stress, because then you might think you can always do it better yourself. So then the whole point of an EA is actually gone, and you can better do it yourself. I think it also would not be for the person that thinks, I now have an EA, I just run it, and then I check in 4 months how it's doing and see if it's printing money for me. Because it is, for me, it's a day-to-day management task that I have to do to see if everything is in order, risk is followed, and what the drawdown is. So it's still a daily job, but only different.
Wow. So how many hours would you average a week?
Managing in a week, at this point, I would say I manage, I think, a week. Let me add that up, because I think it's about 20 minutes a day. So from Monday to Friday, let me say, then it's 5 times. So it's like 1.5 hours that I think I really manage the strategy, just to see if everything is in order and everything is good. And it can be less, but that's, to be honest, that I'm also a bit of a micromanager. Right. So I like to check every day if we're still on point, but then sometimes I check and see it, but everything is good. So I'm just checking it.
Right.
And mostly,
So you passed the evaluation essentially with the 7% target a 2.88% relative drawdown. You had a almost 70% win rate, and you did it just spending 20 minutes a day.
That's on average, that's correct. But that's also, of course, like you just mentioned, for the people with the EA, I started, of course, the evaluation. I now get to that point that it's 20 minutes a day. But before that, it was a lot of testing. Because I had to make sure my strategy would fit the evaluation. And that, of course, took me a lot of testing and calculations to do. But to be honest, now that a lot is automated, that also wasn't a lot of time, because the computer does most of the testing for you. So it's mainly processing the data.
That's right.
And then
figuring out,
making it fit.
Exactly. Figuring out the variables and how to measure them in numbers.
Yes.
In the end, it's maths, isn't it? And but for those watching, what you don't understand is just picture an iceberg, and what you see right now is just the tip of the iceberg. That 20 minutes a day, you know, the consistency, the discipline. But what you don't see is how much work has gone into developing this strategy, the amount of hours, dedication, energy, and also mindset. Because I'm sure from the mindset perspective, you know, you struggled, and you know, you haven't had it easy the last few years. So what would you say was the biggest struggle for you, and how did you overcome that?
The biggest struggle for me was at first not being the person that I want to be and doing what I want to do. Now you see me at CTI passing the evaluation. I'm 35 years old now, but I got introduced to a form of trading when I was 20 years old. And I was living my life. I had a good career. I was a manager at American Express at the financial department. I was making good money, but I was not happy. I was always saying, when I'm at this stage, I will go and trade. When I'm at this stage or at this money, I will switch to trading, but I never did it. So it took my mother passing away, me getting into a burnout, my life basically falling apart, my relationship breaking up, me hitting basically rock bottom to say, maybe I now need to do what I want. And that's when I was already introduced to forex, but then I was like, now I'm really gonna take the time and effort to learn this skill. I think that is where I made a lot of the difference, because it really is a skill that you should learn. It's not just like it's promoted sometimes, get rich quick scheme to drive a Bentley in 6 months. It's really a skill that took me, I've been introduced to forex now, I think it's 5 years ago, to really find my way. And I can say to all the people that might be watching this, I am not the best trader. Because I've been comparing myself to a lot of traders that make a lot more profit a month than me, are a lot smarter than me when it comes to technical analysis and everything. But I went into trading and I thought, let me focus on what I am good at and learn from the best and take every part that I need to create my own world in trading. And that's where the management part and the business part is where I excel. So I focused on making this a business, and to making it a successful business, I only need a profitable product. So I created a profitable product for me. It's not the best profitable product, but it can make profit. And with those tools, I can make the life for myself. And then I just focused on those things and make the best from those things. And that's why I'm here where I am at now. And people might see the numbers. They say, yeah, I can do better. That's good, but I can't. But this is what I can do.
Yeah, fantastic.
And this can change my life. So that's how I look at it, and that's how I came here, just focusing, doing what needs to be done, changing my mindset, and really taking this thing serious and planning, a lot of testing, and going for it.
Fantastic. Great answer. If you had a mic, this would be the opportunity for you to drop that mic.
Thank you.
Love that. So how has been your experience with City Traders Imperium, and how was the whole process? What has been your experience with CTI?
For me, the experience has been great, because I actually look at it very simple. I'm looking for a company that I can trust, a company that fits, of course, my strategy and the things that I would want to achieve. And CTI actually ticked off all those boxes. And for me, of course, you always look at the part when you reach your valuation and you get the money paid out to your account. You guys paid me. So So that was the final part. Everything before that, the service is great, reaction time is great, the software is great. You do what you say, and then the money comes in the account. Yeah, that was the final part. So for me, it's all round. It's good. And for me, I already made a decision to start a long-term relationship with you guys. So I will be doing my best as a trader to perform as you guys wish. Then I hopefully would get the benefits from your side.
Yeah, and we'll do our best to ensure that you have the best possible conditions for you to business.
Yeah, and that's what you say, the condition, because from what I've seen from the different programs, I think every trader will find a program that basically fits their strategy, or that their strategy might need a minor change to fit that. So I think for all traders, you have something. Day traders, swing traders, long term. I think there's a program for everyone with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time you've taken for this interview. Honestly, it's been so powerful, so much wisdom shared there. And your story is very, very inspirational. I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you'll continue to smash it because you have that trader mindset. So hold on to that mindset, keep it sharp, maintain that mindset, because it's going to help you as you scale the business.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.